You know what time it is. It's time for another edition of About Your House, where we bring you the most informative content that pertains to your house. Today's no different. We have Danny Allen, the general manager of ABS Insulating, and Ryan Powell, a spray foam production manager. They'll be talking about, you guessed it, insulating. All your insulating needs, they got you covered. About Your House is brought to you in part by Queen City Home Store. Queen City Home Store is a family-owned store that's been serving the Carolinas for over 70 years. They're the largest independent appliance retailer in the Carolinas, constantly growing and taking pride in the experience they offer customers with a knowledgeable sales staff, product selection, and lowest price guarantee. About Your House is also brought to you in part by PutToolsInSchools.org, connecting students to tools of the trades and raising awareness of the many career pathways. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some time with us as we spread a little love. And now, here's your host, Ray Terry.
And good morning and welcome. I'm excited about today's show because we're going to talk about energy efficiency, comfort, and how to make your house, cheaper. Not cheaper in quality, but actually it enhances the benefits, enhances the value of your house. We're talking about insulation, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Danny Allen, general manager. Ryan Powell, the spray foam insulating production manager. Is that what you are?
Sure. Yeah.
You'll take it.
I'll take it.
Danny, you are the general manager,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes,
I thought so. I want to thank ABS really for supporting the show like they have, because let's face it, folks, insulation has become a major factor in building science and building construction. We were talking earlier about, Ryan, we were talking about how insulation, is it considered a trade? Everything in the construction industry to me is a trade. Anything associated with a house, with a building, energy, heating, air conditioning is a trade. It's and guess what? It's AI proof. Yep, it's AI proof. It'll never be replaced with AI. Seems to be a popular topic. What's your thoughts about AI, Danny?
I think it can be useful if used in the right capacity, but there's who's to determine what the right capacity is. In our industry, as far as installing insulation, AI is never going to be able to help us install it.
And not everybody likes insulation. We're going to talk about it. When I say like it, a lot of people just can't stand fiberglass, period.
They find it itchy, but the manufacturers over the years have made it a lot more tolerable. Most of our guys do wear long sleeve shirts when they do install it.
I noticed too, now that you say that it's become more tolerable. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed that because I've definitely laid myself in some insulation many days and it's hard there again. It's hard to be in construction and not confront insulation. It's just darn near impossible throughout your career pathway.
Nope, it's one of the main trades in a house, and it's one of the most timely trades because no matter what organization or what I guess how you build the house, whether you put your plumbing in first or your electrical first, you cannot go into sheetrock until you get your insulation inspection.
Right.
And the only people can be in the house when you're insulating is the insulator. Everything else had to be signed off on. So we're in the house insulating. Every now and then we might see a low voltage guy pulling some wire, but we're the only ones in the house that sits there until we finish insulating and it gets inspected.
Let's talk about the methodology, you might say. Do all rough inspections have to be done prior to y'all coming in and insulating? Is that correct?
Yes, sir. All the MEPs, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and framing have to be inspected before we can insulate.
So y'all come fourth in line or fifth in line with inspections. Gas has to be, all inspections have to be made. The infrastructure and utility inspections, electrical, once again, just
yes, sir.
Repeat, electrical, plumbing, HVAC.
Yep, we call it the MEPs, mechanical, electrician.
What?
MEP.
MEP?
Yep, for mechanical, electrical, plumbing.
Gotcha. So all those are done now. Mm-hmm. And then y'all inspect, insulate, and then there's another inspection after that.
Correct. And so while you can have the MEP trades in there working at the same time, where even though you try not to because you don't want them on top of each other, but they work simultaneously, we're the only ones in the house working when the installation is. All the other trades have to be inspected and done.
Gotcha. You just said something that I tell people all the time, and it happens all the time. Not with me, because I tell people I won't be there. They stack subs. Mm-hmm. They put electricians in there with the plumbers. They'll stack them, and they have them in there together. And if I tell them, I said, I go in to do a kitchen ventilation, I said, I'm the only person in that kitchen that day.
Correct.
And they says, well, my electrician's supposed to be in there. I says, no way. Well, the plumber, and then on some situation, the plumber's coming to put the dishwasher in. No, he's not. Not with me in there. You mean you can't work with the plumber? No, I will not. I won't even try.
Right.
And people think I'm being a bad guy or mean or something. I said, you don't understand. I'm in his way. He's in my way.
Yep.
I want the kitchen to myself. If I don't have it, I'm leaving. And I've told people that I've walked, and you know who the worst customers like that are? Contractors.
Yep.
Contractors. And then you look at them and tell them, I'm out. You leaving? Yeah, I'm going to leave. Why? Because you got everybody here together. We can't do that. I'm not playing that. Homie, don't do that. But am I right or wrong?
You're 100% right. And Ryan can speak because his crews pay because we pay piece rate. We don't pay hourly. We pay by what you do. That you do.
Production.
So, Ryan, I'll let you take this because when we spray foam, there cannot be, even the homeowner cannot be in the house.
That's because of safety and other
right.
Right. Well, while we're spraying it, while we're installing it, it does off gas, and it's not
deadly.
It's not deadly, but it's not great for you to breathe in.
Sure.
I mean, we wear full face respirators, supplied air, all the things. We're not just in the house, and people don't understand that when we tell you you can't be in the house, you cannot be in the house.
If you've never heard of OSHA, it's Occupational Safety and Health Act. They require safety procedures and methodologies, and voila.
Yep.
And most manufacturers have 24 to 48 hour re-entry is what we call it, re-entry. 24 hours is what we use.
Most of the time when we're doing a new construction house or something like that, the trades can come back in usually within 4 hours if they need to get back in there, low voltage or anything like that.
Right.
They can come back in within 4 hours, but you can't reoccupy the house.
Right.
And be in there for longer than a couple hours for 24 to 48 hours. Most of the trades. Most of the manufacturers have that set. And then, of course, OSHA has that set as well.
Yeah, you got to deal with the rules. You got to. And unfortunately, the rules sometimes are hairy.
And, we find it's funny you said the contractors too, the most curious people when we do new construction. Well, not even new construction, remodeling also is the homeowner. Mm-hmm. The homeowner is so curious about spray foam because you're creating it on site. You're being a chemical engineer on site.
Right.
And they're interested because they've seen it on YouTube or anything like that. And we understand that. But for the safety of it, we ask that they do not, and we put up signs and barricade. And who do you think is the first one to do it? Well, this is my house. Well, we know it's your house, but we're trying to insulate your house and protect you while you're living in your house.
Right. Well, let's go back. Let's start over again, somewhat. Danny, how long have you been in the industry?
So I started in the industry in 1998, 99, somewhere in that area as a sales rep for a company that did insulation, garage doors, shelf and mirror, shower doors, fireplaces, gutters. And for whatever reason...
Where'd you do that at?
In Raleigh, North Carolina.
So you were in Raleigh, Wake County.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And we, that's how the installation companies have always worked. They've always paired with some type of other product. At ABS, we do insulation and gutters and spray foam. So we have three different type of products. But I started in 98, 99, got into management in 2001. And,
what brought you to Charlotte?
Company, ABS Insulating.
Okay.
I'd worked in the corporate world for the largest insulation company in the world for 17 years. And
now, who was that?
At that time, they were called Masco, M-A-S-C-O.
Okay, yeah, I remember. That's why I was curious.
And then they were bought by Top Build. And then Top Build just got bought by X&O, or I don't know how to say their name.
I'm not sure.
$17 billion acquisition.
That seems to be popular these days.
Yep. The publicly traded companies are continuing to buy the independent companies.
Right.
And the independent companies struggle with it because, if they have nobody in their family who wants to take it over, what do?
You build a company to sell it or make money on
right.
it. Build a retirement fund, whatever the case may be.
Exactly. So then most of the companies ask that the owner stays on 2 to 3 years to help with the transition.
Sure.
But that's how I got started. It was working for the largest insulation company. Then I had an opportunity to come work for ABS Insulating and Alan Hoppy, who is just the salt of the earth.
Great guy.
Great guy. Been in business for ABS has been in business for 35 years here locally.
1991.
Yes, sir. 1991, in May of 1991 too. So it's
wow.
Right at 35 years. I've had the pleasure of working for him for 10 years, and it was the best thing for me and my family. We just absolutely love it.
Then a few years back, how long has it been?
It's been 3 years now. Alan was approached, and like we just talked about,
sure.
Didn't have anybody in his family who wanted to take over the business. So he, fortunately, his company was ran so well that he was in a position when he sold to a publicly traded company. They asked him to stay on 3 years and have even offered more. Right. For him to stay on. And they've let us continue, unlike a lot of publicly traded companies, they come in and take over.
They revamped the whole can of worms.
Right. They've let us, and Ryan can speak to it because he was an employee through this transition. We have not changed a whole lot.
No, there's not really been a whole lot of change.
Well, once again, I want to thank you for your support about your house, and I totally support ABS because hey, it's a great company. They got great service, great knowledge around the industry, within the industry. There's not many companies out there like it in the insulation. There's insulation companies, many.
Absolutely.
Many.
You have your choice.
But there's not that many with the background and the experience that ABS has.
Yep. And we also want to thank you for this platform. What you do for I won't even say the city of Charlotte. I'll say the surrounding areas of Charlotte because we go way out into the different counties. But your word and your voice, whether people get frustrated with it or not,
Oh, you heard that before?
It has a purpose.
Oh, no. I find it hard to believe.
It has a purpose and a soul and a message that it should be, and it's not your message that I think is not heard well. I think the message is what everybody hears. It's a way about going to do it. And we happen to be on the same page, the way it needs to be done.
And I appreciate that.
And we thank you. And I could not do what we do without the support from the vendors and the suppliers,
service companies, and everybody on this show. All the sponsors of this show are very essential to every homeowner.
Yep.
Every one of them. And even full body function. Don't know how that happened. We'll go back to ABS Insulating. Or will we? There we go. Yeah. All right. Now, how old are you now?
I'm 57.
57. Still got some great years ahead.
I'm young in this industry.
What do you see yourself in 5 years?
I still doing the same thing. I don't want to move any higher or any lower. I love being with the people. I have the Carolinas kind of as a region.
Right.
ABS is always dear and near to my heart. That's my home base. And I think Ryan will tell you that that's where my calling is at the branch level.
Well, once again, I couldn't say enough kind things about the company. I've never heard a negative thing when y'all went out and did something.
Well, we appreciate
I've never heard anything negative come back to me.
Well, I will say this. I will say we do make mistakes.
Everybody does.
And you know what? What I like to say that separates us is we own it and we will be there to fix it and correct it.
That's the difference.
Because we are perfect and we're people.
Right.
We have fights at night with our wives. We have fights with our kids over doing their homework. We might not feel good the next day.
Sure.
Yeah.
We make mistakes.
Well, I'll tell you what I've heard, and I'm going to say this for the industry. Put Tools in Schools, a nonprofit, is our mission in Put Tools in Schools is to raise the awareness of the opportunities and career pathways in construction with tools. It's that simple. Critical thinking, common sense. Where has it gone? Well, it's in your hands and your mind. Well, here of late, when I say of late, I'm talking past 5-10 years, I hear more and more stories about, I had a plumber come out here today and I ran him off. I had an HVAC guy out just this past week. I heard 3 homeowner stories. Mm-hmm. They came out here, had a leak in a ceiling, and the company came out there, one of the restoration or, insurance, and there's tons of them in Charlotte, came out there and she said, I ran him off because they were telling me one thing and I knew better. And she was right.
Right.
She said, and then another guy came in here and same situation that he had a company come in and he says, I ran him off, Ray. I took care of it myself. Why does this go on and on and on? And, throughout the construction industry, and have you noticed a decline
in quality and education?
And education, showing up, professionalism, and everything else.
Yep. I think, COVID had its many challenges, but one thing it did do is it put a lot of people in business.
Yes, it did.
In the construction site. A lot of do-it-yourselfers were at home and they wanted to add or do things to their house.
Right.
So there's a strong demand for that. The problem is you've got a lot of people, and we've even seen it with our company, who might have been with us for 2 years and then go off and think they're experts and open up their own company. And they could have had the potential to be experts or be good.
Sure.
But they saw opportunity and tried to take it, and now it's starting to catch up with them.
Glad you brought that.
That's closed some of the economy.
We hear a lot about. I've been in 42 different schools with Put Tools in Schools, and I hear a lot of kids now say, "I'm going to be an entrepreneur." What does that drives me crazy. They're teaching kids all these words, but they're not telling them the depth of what that word means.
Right.
Entrepreneurship is nothing but creating businesses, creating a business, creating a successful business. And I tell kids, look at me. I'm a prime example and I'll just own it. Like you said, you got to own it.
Right.
Of a thoroughbred idiot. When I was young. Now I say that I can do anything with my brain and my hands. Build anything, look around you. I did all this.
Right.
Am I bragging? No, I'm proud. Mm-hmm. I'm proud. I did it. However, I'm broke. Well, and the message is, if you don't understand business, you have no business being in business.
Very well said.
And you got to make money to be in business. You got to make money to be in business, and you got to understand business to make money in business. Right?
I would agree 100%.
So if you've got a high school graduate coming up this year, and this is graduation time, happy graduation to all you graduates out there. Good luck. You're going to need it. But may I make a suggestion? Find something you love to do and you want to do it and do it well. Servitude, purpose. Find that purpose and servitude to help people. You will never be without a job. Never. But we're not teaching our kids that.
No, we're not.
Let's talk about Ryan. You want to?
Sure, if we want to. You want to?
I do.
All right.
All right. How old are you?
I'm 45.
45.
Yes, sir.
So you got your head out all the way down, don't you?
Yeah, well, almost anyway.
Well, I figure you're 45. 40 is the benchmark.
Yeah.
That's what I look at. 40 as the age of revelation, right?
Yeah.
No,
there's been a lot of revelations.
Yeah, for sure. He come in here hobbling today, hurt himself Saturday. And we'll talk about that too, because you just took it for granted and got up there and dangling your foot and get up and you cut your foot open.
Yep.
Cut a tendon. Now he's hobbling around. Sorry to hear that too.
Yeah. Part of life.
Part of life.
Just got to take it in stride.
To his skill set, look at where he is today. He shows up. And that's one of the most important things I can tell the younger generation. Just show up.
Yeah.
We attended and I'll get back to Ryan here in a minute, but on that note, we did a career day at Aspire Trade High School about 2-3 weeks back on Friday. And it was really the best career day I've ever been to at a high school.
Yeah.
And it's the only trade high school in Charlotte-Mecklenburg area, metro area. And so I went to the career day, and after it was all over, we got to see kids. And I've never been to a high school, never, where 9th and 10th graders came up to me, and girls too, and tell me what they're going to do the rest of their life. Mm-hmm. They knew. Two girls walked up. One's going to be a carpenter, and one's going to be a plumber, and they're going to work together and build houses.
Good for them.
Man, I love it. I said, wow. I've never been to a high school where I heard so much direction. And then when it was all over, they fed us a little something to eat. And then we went in there and had a question and answer period with students. The room was full, about 80 to 100 kids. They got to ask questions. And I'm going to tell everybody, it goes without saying, the most important thing you do every day is communicate. Mm-hmm. Communicate. But to your point, show up. Just show up. Be on time. On time's 10 minutes early, 15 minutes early. That's on time. If you got to be there at 8 o'clock, don't show up at 8 o'clock. Show up about 15 or 10 minutes till. Be prepared when 8 o'clock gets there to start your day. But that doesn't seem to be the way things are today.
No.
Showing up is most of the battle.
And showing up can be a relative term or it can be theoretical, but that's the biggest thing that I see with a lot of the younger generation is just showing up and being there for people.
Right.
Like you said, I mean, when events happen, and I'm not even talking about just for work, I'm talking about
life.
Exactly. Funerals, weddings, get-togethers. Show up and support people. Show up and be there for people.
I have never, in my life, I've been in the industry 56 years. I have never lived in a time where it's so hard to get commitments from people and then show up. Saturday, I had 5 people RSVP, 3 showed up. That's just one example of countless. Mm-hmm. People say you're going to be there, they don't show up. Mm-hmm. I know we're all busy, but one of the things, back to the kids, if you're going to have a career, period, you got to show up. You got to be there. You got to be present. And unfortunately, in this day and time, we don't teach that in our education system. That ain't working. But hey, success is all in your attitude and your love and your passion and your desire to be great at something. Find what that is. Now, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Where are you from?
Originally from Virginia.
How long you been south? Well, that Virginia is south.
Yeah, Virginia south. I was.
You come a little further.
Yeah, I come a little further. I've been here most of my life. My parents moved here back in the mid to late 80s.
So you were a kid?
Yeah, I was a kid. I grew up around here.
Gotcha.
Left for a little while and then came back.
Gotcha. What'd you do? Where'd you go to school?
Well, I went to Northside Christian Academy.
Okay.
And then I graduated from Independence High School.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
What year did you graduate?
2000.
2000. Cool.
Yep, graduated in 2000.
Little ditty about little kudos to Independence High School, Keith Olson. We've got a teacher in Charlotte called Keith Olson. He teaches carpentry, and he's a connector teacher. He teaches kids about these hands and their mind and tools and how to make a career in the construction pathway. Well, Keith, God bless him. He's such a great man and such a lover of kids and their well-being. He took kids to this was not in the news, and it should be. He is the only teacher that took kids to Skills USA last month in April. Well, before last now. But in April, every year, there's a big competition with Skills USA up in Greensboro, North Carolina. And they've got carpentry. Oh, it's mind-blowing. Such a tight-run organization. It's just unbelievable. And they compete in masonry, electrical, HVAC, every trade, every one of them. And then it gets into cosmetology, diesel mechanics, auto mechanics, welding, all crafts. Well, he's placed second with his kids in one division, and I don't know what that was. It was carpentry, I believe.
Okay.
Two types of carpentry. And then he took first place in another division. Congratulations, Keith. Great job, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, just kudos, baby. And he needs recognition, but there's a possibility we may lose Keith. CMS. Why? And I don't know this is a fact. I can just only imagine. They're losing teachers by the droves in Charlotte, North Carolina, because they're not getting the support they need. This is a common problem across America now. It's not just Charlotte. It's all major cities. Teachers are quitting like crazy. We got a problem. A lot of it deals with behavioral issues, but the point is, Keith Olson, let's talk. Keith is I had 4 students on this show one Saturday morning with a mother of one of the students.
Right.
We're going to talk about insulation, I promise. But she brought her son, Carter was his name, because she listens to this show, and she heard me at Christopher's one night down in Matthews, and she said, Ray Terry's here? And she got up, she came over and talked to me. She said, I got to talk to him. She said, Ray, I will tell you what a bad mother I've been. I says, what are you talking about? She says, I got a son, Carter. He came to me when he was in the 10th grade, I believe, and told me, he says, Mom, I am not going to college. I was devastated. Ray tore me up. My son's not going to college. She said, I thought college was the way of the future for my son. He didn't want to go to college. Then his daddy was a salesman for one of the concrete companies here in town, ready mix companies. And he got him a job that summer in the diesel mechanic shop, because these trucks have to be maintained, kept up, big diesel, big concrete trucks, cement mixers. And she said he got a job there. Ray, he came home smiling from ear to ear, grinning like a dirty. Oh my God, that boy was dirty. She said, but he loved working with his hands. And she said, he makes good money and he's happy. She said, so now he went to Independence, he graduated, he's got a job, he's making good money. And here's the story. When he turned 16, we told him that if he wanted a vehicle, we would match whatever he put on the table. She said, I thought twice when it came to fruition, because he come to the table with $7,000. I didn't know my son had $7,000 saved. She said, but I found out that day, and now we had to match. We had to put $7,000 beside his.
Right.
And she said, and let me tell you something, I was wrong. I was so wrong. So I brought 4 kids in here today to tell their story. All of those 4 kids had jobs in the trades, and none of them were going to college.
Yep.
So there's a true story and testimonial. Yep. And every one of those kids had Keith Olson as a teacher. And every one of those kids credit Keith Olson with their career pathway.
I thank Keith for what he does, because we need more leaders in our community like that.
You said a magic word there too. Got to dwell on all these points here, folks, because they're biggies. Leadership. There aren't any leaders anymore. Do you find that to be the case?
It's, it's
hard.
It's hard to find them, but for somebody like you, somebody like me, I take a lot of pride in trying to develop leaders.
Absolutely.
And we got one right here that is going to be a great leader one day, if not already one now.
Well, you're the age of leadership. I told my son, my 48-year-old son, he wants to gripe all the time about how people are or how people aren't. And I says, well, let me ask you this. What you doing about it? You're a 48-year-old man. You're my son. You got a big mouth. You can make a difference. And really, you can. It's called leadership.
Yeah.
It's leadership. And we need to teach leaders. Here at the Toolbox, that's one of the things we're going to teach. Hopefully this summer, not hopefully, we're going to teach leadership skills. We talk about showing up. We talk about various things with our students and what they need to do. Show up, be on time. What they need to do is eliminate fear. In schools, they teach these kids fear. Now, how do they teach them? Well, for one thing, guys, everywhere you go, they're afraid of being on a camera, being taken a picture of, video of, and they're scared of failing. The fear of failing in our schools runs rampant. How do you learn if you don't fail?
That's what I tell my kids every day. The only place in life that you're told that you can't fail is school. But the biggest teacher in life is failure.
That's the only thing you learn from.
Yep.
And you don't learn unless you apply.
That's it.
But we don't apply in school. What in the world is going on? It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's the world we live in. So anyway, I know I get crazy, but
that's what we love about you.
it's just nuts what's going on, or what's not going on more than that. All right. You came to Shaw when you were a kid, raised here. What'd you do when you got out of high school?
I went to the military. Went to Coast
Guard. Really? Which
yes.
one?
I went to Coast Guard.
How long were you there?
4 years.
Really?
Yes, sir.
What'd you do?
We did law enforcement, search and rescue. I was in stations in Baltimore, Maryland.
Really?
Yes, sir.
That's fun, wasn't it?
It was fun. It was fun.
There's leadership training for you.
Yeah. We did a lot of stuff.
Yep. And the military, the best thing about the military is discipline and leadership.
Yeah.
If you don't learn,
it'll teach you a lot about yourself.
Sure.
A lot about yourself, and real quick and in a hurry.
Yep. You begin to know who you are or who you're not.
Yeah. There's that too. You may not know who you are, but you learn who you're not.
So when you got out of the Coast Guard, what'd you do?
I actually went back into construction. I'd been,
So before you went into Coast Guard?
Well, when I was in high school and things like that, I did a little construction here and there. And then when I got out,
what'd you do? You're in the Charlotte area, right?
Yes, sir.
I
did whatever I could find. Whatever I could find, whoever would put me to work.
So you just work with your hands and your mind?
Yes, sir.
Works, don't it?
Yes, it does.
So then what led you to where you're at now?
Where I'm at now, well, I actually started, like I said, when I got out, I went in and started building decks and fences and with a company. And then I don't even think they're in business anymore, but got out of that and went on the fire department for a couple of years. I was actually on the Fort Mill Fire Department. I'm a little further south from Charlotte.
Well, Charlotte Metro.
Yeah. And then left there and found myself needing a job, and it only made sense for me to go back in construction because I enjoy working with my hands, doing things. And I actually went to work for Danny over at Masco for about a year and a half. That was my first actual introduction to spray foam. I was working on the spray foam. Well, I started in installation and ended up on the spray foam crew.
Right. So you've been an installer, technician.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Still do. Well, that's what
you do what you do what you do.
Do what I do. That's what I was doing Saturday when I got hurt. But left there and then ended up going to work for what is now one of our sister companies. And spraying for them. I worked for them for 5 or 6 years. And then came over here and been here for this will be my 7th year with ABS.
Gotcha. You happy, boy?
7 years already.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Hard to
Yeah,
believe.
well, you were saying out there. How long has it been for? It's been
Yeah.
a couple years. No, it's been about 4 or 5.
Yeah, you knew. Yeah.
Time flies, man. Time goes by so quick. Let me take a minute here to thank some of our sponsors, which I need to do. Rhino Lift Foundation Solutions. You know, there's an industry right there that has blown up, gone crazy. Foundation repair and crawl space issues, slabs, you know, all the structural issues that one might have with lower quality homes, such as slabs cracking, sinking, subsiding, poor foundations, cracking foundations. You name it, it's out there this day. Well, company to call, Rhino Lift Foundation Solutions. 2 boys, you know, that took great advice from their mentors, fathers, and what have you, and went to school, went to college to be a great, one of them great in business, in accounting. The other one, construction management, licensed general contractor, North Carolina, South Carolina. They got you covered. Be it a crack foundation, helical piers, crawl space encapsulation, slab leveling, slab mending. They've got it. They know what they're doing. They're totally transparent. You make the decisions. They come out, educate you with what the solutions are. You pick it out. But they show up on time, do what they say what they do. Everything you want in the company. That's rhinofoundations.com. And let's talk about Kilo. A lot of our companies, such as ABS Insulating, originated in 1991. How's 1939 sound? Yep. Kilo Exterminating been a pest control company in the Charlotte metro area since 1939, 3 generations old, do great work. They've been around that long because they do one thing. They take care of your pest. That's not Rhino, that's Kilo Exterminating, kilo.biz. And let's don't forget our guest today, ABS Insulating. We're going to talk all about what they do and how they do it today here on the show. ABS Insulating. Got Danny Allen and Ryan Powell, both in here from ABS. In insulating's, well, the past 20 years, a lot's happened. Wouldn't you say so?
100% agree with you.
Nowadays, Ryan, spray foam.
Yes, sir.
Y'all stay busy every day?
Just about.
What's y'all's primary customer now? Is it new building, residential, remodeling? What is there?
It's still, for the spray foam, it's, I would say 60% new construction, 40% remodeling. We have a very good,
Yeah, we're pretty diversified there.
diversified and very loyal customers.
New construction. Are there builders out there using spray foam?
Yes, sir. There's mainly custom builders are the main ones.
Right.
But there
I would
are a
expect
couple
that.
national builders that do participate in that. But like you said, over the last 20 years, insulation has become a lot well known because of comfort, right?
Well, it's like making a cooler. I refer to the houses built post-World War II as dog crates because they're so leaky. And today's homes are built like Yeti coolers. They're sealed up, airtight, and everything else. And the dynamics and just the science behind the two are totally different.
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned that because we love the science of the spray foam because what happens is if you call us and say, hey, we'd like to get a quote on your spray foam, we come out, we don't just give you a number for the spray foam. We look at the house, look at how old it is, look at your air ventilation, and then we're able to, if we don't know, the salesman or sales consultant comes back and talks to either John, and you remember John, who's still with us, and Ryan, and they talk about, all right, well, we'll probably need to put a fresh air vent. And we don't do it, but we advise them to do it.
Right. Air intake.
Yep. So because when you, especially in a remodel home, you're going from a house that you're tightening the whole house. That was loose. Now you're making it tight.
Exactly.
With putting the spray foam up against the roof deck. So you got to ventilate that air out somehow. And that's where we try to be. We try to be a partner in it with you and be part of the process.
Well, you've certainly done it long enough to see the results and the effect overall, because I'm going to tell you, I've been in the industry 56 years, and I've seen a lot of codes come out. For example, back in the 70s, somebody in the building standards brainstorm said, we're going to put plastic over the walls after the installation.
I remember that.
What a mistake. Hot air, cold air, what happens? Moisture. Where's the moisture? Behind the plastic.
Yep.
What's behind the plastic? Insulation and water. And what happens?
And it's funny you talk about education. A lot of insulating companies, insulating owners protested that and can try to combat it. But the people who were in charge, who thought they knew it all, said this is the way
overeducated idiots
needs to be done. And it was funny because what happened is how it came to everybody's attention is when 3 years later, 5 years later, 7 years later, you go to remodel your kitchen. And you pull the cabinet off the wall, and the homeowner is freaking out because all they see is black
mold.
And it's not necessarily dangerous. We don't want to scare people.
No, it's not. It's not stachybotrys, but it is
right.
mold.
It is mold, and that's all they saw in that plastic.
Exactly, and it frightens the heck out of people when they see that.
Yep.
But when I saw plastic, I said, and I bought my first house when I was 18. And that house, because I took the paneling off the wall in one room, and there was the plastic. I said, well, that's stupid, because I knew back then it just traps that moisture and it can't get out.
Yep.
Well, spray foam does the same thing. For example, I got word way back. Matter of fact, 2007 is when I started with WFNZ.
Okay.
2007 was right in the area of time that spray foam was coming into existence.
Right.
What was the first foam company that was in town?
NCFI or?
No, NCFI was a foam manufacturer and supplier, and still up in Mount Airy today. They're still in business. One of the largest foam history in foam of any company. But whatever the name of the company, I'll tell you, I was talking about foam, and he called me, the owner of that company. I can't remember. The name will probably come to me. He called me on air, told me if I didn't know what I was talking about, shut up.
Okay.
I said, you got it. So I called NCFI the next week and said, I hear y'all are, and matter of fact, Mike Landers. Did you ever know Mike?
No, I did not know Mike.
He was a spray foam guy, too. And matter of fact, he did somatic encapsulations way back. Mm-hmm. And that was my first job that I got the validation of how effective spray foam was. My first attic encapsulation. I said, whoa, wow.
Right.
But anyway, I called NCFI and I told them, and they put me in touch with one of the main engineers up there over foam. And I told him I wanted to come up here and get an education. He said, education in what? I said, foam. He says, well, come on down. When I pulled up there, I went in the conference room. There were 4 people at the conference table. One engineer retiring and the new one replacing him, young fella coming in. But anyway, I got an education in foam that day. I mean, a thorough education and history about foam. And so I went back to the microphone and I started talking again about spray foam, and I learned. But the company that got in my case no longer in business.
Right,
they're gone. But spray foam has changed. To me, it's changed everything.
Yeah, it really has.
How's the pricing been the past 5-10 years? Has it gone up?
Yep. So it's interesting you say that. Up until 6 months ago, the last 5 years, it's actually come down. Supply and demand.
You hear that, folks? It's come down.
Well, up until the last 6 months.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. So what we've had, and actually not quite 6 months, but the foam, the way it's made, is used with raw materials.
Right.
And, you can get into what is a raw material, what isn't raw material. But Convestro is something that is used in the building of the foam. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And
what did you say?
Convestro.
Okay. That's an additive.
It's a raw, it's one of the raw materials.
Raw materials.
Yeah.
And ever since the war in Iran,
Right.
we've had trouble getting Convestro into the United States. So that's caused the price to go up.
I got you. Hopefully that'll go away soon.
Yeah. But prior to that, because of supply and demand, there's so many more people wanting spray foam that the price has come down.
Got you.
So up until that, it has been a lot more. The affordability is a lot more. You're looking about still for open cell compared to fiberglass 2.5 times, maybe 3 times the amount. But you got to figure that, let's just say it's $10,000 delta. You figure that over 30 years. And the comfort that it's given you, and not only the comfort, which you once you have that comfort, you won't want to go back to something else.
All right, I've told this story a bazillion times, and I'll tell it again because it's very important. I got a call from a listener. Mm-hmm. You know, he says, "Ray, I just bought a house down in TK."
I remember the story.
You remember this story? I just bought a house down next to TK, and it's a brand new house, but that air conditioner ain't cutting it. I mean, we can't get it cool enough in this house. I says, okay. He says, well, can you come down here and possibly give me some tips on what we can do? Because I don't want to spend $12,000 or whatever it is for a new system. He says, but if I have to, I have to, because I want to be comfortable. Mm-hmm. So I went down there, and I mentioned Mike Landers before. I called Mike. Mike went with me, I think, if I recall. And I didn't know of ABS at that time.
That's years ago. Yep.
Several years back. And so we went up in the attic, and we says, you know, this is a beautiful candidate for attic encapsulation. Mm-hmm. He says, well, what's required? And, you know, he had a gas furnace. Mm-hmm. So when you have gas appliances, you've got to supply intake air and ventilation necessary to have a gas appliance in the attic, which is, ABS would tell you that and direct you on that. Right. They come out to encapsulate your attic. Anyway, so long story shorter anyway, we went out and encapsulated that attic. It just, not only did it take care of the comfort, it just extends the life of the equipment, your air conditioning and heating equipment. It also extends the life of the roof. And people want to argue about that, but you can argue till the cows come home. If you use your mind and think about it, you'll come up with a solution. When you don't have 150-degree air under the shingles, it doesn't bake them as much as it would.
Right.
Right?
Correct.
And it extends the life of the shingles. So anyway, that house down in TK, Steve Davis is his name. Never forget it. Talked to him about 6 months ago. And it worked. And it works. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you're doing y'all do them every week now.
No, we run between both locations. We run 6 trucks a day.
Yeah.
5 or 6 trucks a day.
Yeah. 4, 6 trucks every day.
Mm-hmm. Are you encapsulating many attics? Really?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Glad to hear it. I hope I've sold some of them for you.
Yep.
I hope I have.
I hope you have too.
Because, folks, if you're struggling, and you talked about the guys that work for you, mm-hmm. and he was talking about when they eat lunch, what they'll do if they're in a subdivision of new houses, they go find the coolest place. And it's typically
a house that's been spray foamed.
And a house that's been spray foamed.
Mm-hmm.
That right there is a testimonial.
Yeah.
It works. And it's worth every penny. And here again, I must say this. There's a lot of 2-story homes in Charlotte. A lot. And most of your struggles with comfort are in 2-story houses. Right? Am I right or wrong?
Yep. Especially with 2 registers or 2
air returns. Yep, 2 air returns. And a lot of houses built cheaply, and I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. They've got 1 unit for both upstairs and downstairs and zoned them. Well, that's a struggle. That sets up a big struggle for that upstairs, area to be cool, mm-hmm. right? But the answer, go up there. If you got a 2,000 square foot house, 2-story, 2,000, 1,800, whatever, 2,400, the footprint of that size house is around little over 1,000 square foot. Mm-hmm. So you got a 1,000 square foot attic, right? That's a lot cheaper than you might think. And the comfort and what you're getting for that investment Wow. Well worth it, isn't it?
Absolutely. Like I said, you can talk about the money, and the money is important to all of us.
Oh,
and we
sure.
understand that. But the comfortability of living in a house, you cannot take away that. And when you move into a house that's spray foam, even hearing the noise with cars driving by, if the walls are insulated with spray foam, is reduced drastically. I mean, there's just so many benefits that you don't become aware of until you live in a house that has been spray foam.
This studio, for example, This studio, for example, the wall behind me right here, it continues over, there's open cell spray foam in these walls. And what does that do for the studio? Pretty much makes it soundproof. Mm-hmm. Not pretty much, it's soundproof. So to your point,
yes, sir.
If you put triple pane windows in your house, you're building a new house, triple pane windows, spray foam in your walls, you won't hear outside noises.
Yep, that's a good point.
You will not hear outside noises, and your comfort will be phenomenal. And once again, right now it's 76 degrees where I sit. Pretty comfortable, isn't it?
It is comfortable.
Very comfortable.
76 degrees. And why is it comfortable? Because it's low humidity. You control the humidity, you control your comfort. Yep. It's that simple. And you can do that insulating correctly.
Yes, sir. And by far, spray foam is your best way of creating the most R value. But we also use fiberglass insulation too.
Y'all got combinations, don't you?
Yes.
Y'all work in.
We will spray foam the roof deck, and probably 90% of our homes are that way.
Yeah, we do a lot of homes that way.
We call them hybrid.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. All right, let's talk about that. Hybrid. Are these new homes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So new homes, and they're hybrids. Now tell me about what a hybrid is.
Go ahead.
Well, so usually what we call a hybrid is basically we'll fiberglass the walls. We'll do a really good caulk and seal around the windows and top
air seal
through the whole house, and then we spray foam the roof deck.
That's a good combo.
It is a great combo, and if it's done correctly, it can
solve everything.
Very effective.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it's very effective
because you lose. It's called the stack effect in most houses. Air comes in and goes up constantly. Goes up constantly, and that air keeps moving from cold to hot. Yep. Always. Every day. But when you cut that off with an encapsulated attic, you call it spraying the roof deck.
Yeah.
But you're not, are you
We're spraying the underside.
I understand.
Yeah. So encapsulating the attic. And by that point, it's like a lot of times when you go in a house, especially in the summertime, and you open your attic hatch to go up in your attic, and it's,
80 degrees.
Well, in a normal house with just
150,
but you go in that attic and a spray foam roof deck, you're 10, 15 degrees warm, maybe warmer than the rest of the house. Right. But it's still comfortable. You can still be up there and not feel like.
Oh, I agree.
So, Ray, I'd like to take a second too and talk about when we were talking about Ryan working, and let me know how we are on time. But the condition and the way that we attack it in hiring the right people is Ryan, like you just said, is in an attic. And if it's the middle of the summer, that attic is 160 to 170 degrees. He's in a spacesuit.
I never use that high of a temperature, but I don't doubt it because I've worked in many an attic in my life, and it's hot.
Well, it's 140.
It starts out at 140, and it can go up from there.
But when you got these hot, humid days. And,
God.
Right. I mean, we were just talking about the other day, this is the time of year we buy pickle juice and salt tablets to give to our guys for electrolytes.
Sure.
Yeah. Because it gets hot in there. And that's what I was saying. The guys in the neighborhood, before that house is sprayed, all those houses are hot. Once that house is sprayed, they know where to go eat lunch.
Right.
In the garage.
It's absolutely incredible the difference spray foam makes.
It is.
However, it changes the dynamics and the science of comfort in that house. Air quality has become essential. But let me take a minute to thank two of my sponsors. One of them, Queen City Home Store. Queen City Home Store. New store, same quality, same low prices, same product selection guaranteed. Throughout North and South Carolina now, Queen City Home Store's expanded since 1952. Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliance started as Queen City TV. Woody Player, now the Player family, has been in the business since 1952 in Charlotte, North Carolina. Queen City Home Store is your go-to home store, be it furniture, appliances, media, bedding, frou-frou, all the little decorations. Great store, great people, man, unbelievable. And I want to thank them for their support in the community as a whole. The Player family, Queen City Home Store gives and gives and gives. Thank you. Thank you for the support you give us. And Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. Don't let the name fool you. They change it because of it. Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte brings the showroom to you. LVP, stain flooring, oak flooring, hardwoods, LVT, binding carpet, custom carpets, stairs. If it goes on the floor, they got it. No problem. And they bring the showroom to you. That's Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. Yourflooringteam.com. Go online, set up an appointment, get the showroom to you, make your selections. Great company, great reviews. That's Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. And on today's show, we've got ABS Insulating, and we ain't talked gutters yet. So next hour number 2, we'll talk about their gutter division. One of the best gutter divisions in Charlotte, I think.
Absolutely.
And I've gotten great referrals and validation on that from customers. Never heard a complaint. That's ABS Insulating. Matter of fact, we're talking about quality of stuff, and I just 3 days ago we were talking about gutters. Mm-hmm. I went to a house and they said, "Ray, who could I call about gutters? There's a problem." I said, "That's easy," and I gave him your number.
Well, we appreciate it. And you were talking about Queen City Home Store. Alan Hoppy and Rodney Player went to school together.
Yes,
Alan talks very highly of them and how successful they've been over the years. And they're also a partner here, and we are very appreciative of that.
One of the Charlotte's top workplaces, voted in 2025 as one of Charlotte's top workplaces, and they definitely take care of their people, like y'all do.
Yep, absolutely.
Only way to a successful business is you got to take care of your people. After all, what is a business but people? It's all about people. And but talking insulation today and comfort, we're talking about air quality.
Yeah.
When you button up a house to make it that Yeti cooler we're talking about, air quality becomes top priority. And CDA Environmental, Devin Arnett, I don't know if you've ever met Devin, but Devin's what do they call him? Hygienist. He goes into houses and checks for mold.
I've heard him on your show. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Devin, and I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was back years ago that when we started buttoning these houses up, making them so tight, there were going to be air issues and air quality issues, because the science changed. When they brought spray foam on the home front,
right,
everything changed. And comfort levels, the science behind, the science in heating and cooling changed. Before that, we had dog crates, dinky houses.
Yeah, and Ryan can speak to you what we do when we have to go into houses with cross ventilation of.
As far as spraying it, when we go in, we gotta, we have to be. A lot of the houses when we go into them, we have to have ventilation coming in and going out while we're in there spraying.
Of course.
So we have fans that we pump air into and suck air. Put one in one side of the house and pumping fresh air in, and another one pulling air out while we're in there spraying, just to get that cross ventilation moving. But like you said, some of these houses are just that we go into, even some of the older ones. They're so leaky that sometimes we set it up and you can literally feel the air going out when you turn the fans on before we even start spraying.
Right.
Yeah.
Do y'all do a lot of next hour we'll talk more about it as well, because we've got about a little over a minute to go into the first hour. And, the older homes, is there a way, back in when all this started, they had foam injection. Are we doing that anymore?
There's a national company that is a franchise, I believe,
Right.
that does it. I've seen commercials for. We do not do it. And we've just never looked at doing it. It's just, we're good at what we do. And
I understand.
We kind of stay within our lane.
Well, there are issues of injecting foam in a wall that you can't see.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've seen the results of that too.
Yeah. And I would imagine the cost, because they don't know what they're looking at until they do it.
That's right.
That they're going to have to overcharge in the beginning
to cover
that.
I agree 100%. Well, we've about wrapped up hour number one. We've got ABS Installation, Danny Allen, Ryan Powell in studio today, and we're talking insulation. So tune in next hour. We're going to talk about ABS Insulating's methodologies and the quality of what they do with gutters. Tune in. We'll be back.
Hour number two, Ray's going to continue his conversation with Danny Allen, the general manager of ABS Insulating, and Ryan Powell, a spray foam production manager. They'll be talking more about the company, what they're all about some of their firsthand experiences in the field. They'll also be talking about their gutter division, what you need to do and what you need to look out for. About Your House is brought to you in part by PutToolsInSchools.org, connecting students to tools of the trades and raising awareness of the many career pathways. About Your House is also brought to you in part by Queen City Home Store. Queen City Home Store is a family-owned store that's been serving the Carolinas for over 70 years. They're the largest independent appliance retailer in the Carolinas, constantly growing and taking pride in the experience they offer customers with the knowledgeable sales staff, product selection, and lowest price guarantee. And now, here's your host, Ray Terry.
And welcome back to hour number two. We got Danny Allen in the house and Mr. Ryan Powell from ABS Insulating. ABS Insulating, great company, been in the Charlotte area since 1991. 30, how many years?
35 years.
35 years this month. Happy birthday.
Yep.
Yeah. And we're going to get into a little bit more of the depth about, well, for example, the question I want to ask is, if you've got a home, you've got your air conditioner's just struggling and it's only 4 years old. Can they call you for answers?
Yep, absolutely.
How's that work?
Just got to pick up the phone, dial. I was getting ready to say the phone number.
704-821-4343.
Yeah, I'm so used to the website now.
Right. Yeah, I hardly ever get phone numbers. I hardly ever give phone numbers out. I always talk about just give out the website.
The
704-821-4343.
You got
there it is. They've got a gutter division and insulation both. So, but if you're looking to improve your power bill and your comfort level, that's what we're talking about here.
Yep, absolutely. And insulation is one of the things Ryan was talking about earlier. You never think about it until it's time to think about it. And that's when you're either too hot or too cold.
Well, back when all this energy efficiency started, they did back, I don't know, it was around 2010, where they did the energy audit. Mm-hmm. Remember the craze of the energy audits? That's gone by the byway pretty much.
It has and it hasn't. There's still several companies out there, like you mentioned one of your companies, but there's several companies out there that do what they call energy models. Unfortunately, most of the energy models now go to save money, so that the companies can insulate with less R value,
right,
but still reach a performance level,
right, instead
of actually reporting what they had hoped for it to be was a miles per gallon.
Right.
So like if you went to buy a house, this HERS rating would say 52 and this one would say 58. The one with the lowest number is actually better in this case with the HERS rating. They still do that on many homes, but Energy Star is kind of going by the wayside now. But I would like to talk about a program by Duke Energy that they do give up to $1,000 rebate if you insulate at least 1,000 feet of your attic. So we do a lot of blown-in insulation over the existing insulation,
right?
Just blowing in.
Sure,
and they'll give you from $500 to $1,000 rebate.
Now let's repeat
Duke
this.
Energy customers.
Let's repeat this. Now, Duke Energy in Charlotte Metro will give you $500 to $1,000.
Yes,
if you upgrade your attic insulation.
At least 1,000 feet of your attic, which, like you talked about earlier, that's pretty much the second floor of a home.
That's the second floor of a 2-story house in Charlotte in subdivision.
Yes,
basically.
sir. And
there's thousands of them.
Thousands and thousands. So if you would call ABS at 704-821-4343, the ladies who answer the phone will be more than happy to assign you to a sales consultant. And all of them are versed in that program. And we do 2 to 5 a week on that, because you have to get the paperwork.
Sure. Well, there's a procedure, a protocol.
We do it all the time. We're very experienced at it. We're one of their preferred vendors.
All right. Also. Now let's do this. Let's put it in another situation. All right. That's if they upgrade to fiberglass. In other words, you're just putting more insulation on top of the old insulation, which is fine work.
Yep.
What if you went in there and spray foamed the attic?
That's still the same rebate. Same rebate.
You get the rebate.
As long as you upgrade 1,000 feet of the attic. But
so, my gosh, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, you could use that gift card to buy whatever you want, because they give you a gift card, but you could also use, in theory, that money to help pay for the spray foam.
Man, that is I didn't know that existed.
Yep,
that's good news. In other words, if you call the folks at ABS, they'll set you up in this program, right?
Yep, you don't even have to contact Duke Energy. We do all that for you.
They do it, all the legwork for you, and you can get up to $1,000 rebate, increasing the insulation or adding to the insulation into your attic, which is going to make your home a lot more energy efficient, take less energy. Wow.
Yep.
That's $1,000. And frankly speaking, I don't see how you couldn't qualify for $1,000 if you.
Just about every home in Charlotte will qualify, right?
Yeah, for $1,000. That's $1,000 you take off the top.
Mm-hmm.
That's a substantial savings.
And that just shows you the energy costs that manufacturers or companies like Duke's that it's so much cheaper for them in America to build more energy efficient homes than it is to build these nuclear power plants.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And nobody wants a nuclear power plant built next to them anyway.
And I'm going to give you an example, which I've talked about before. There's a listener of this show. She's listened to me since I started again on the air in 2007. She tore down a house over Myers Park. Mm-hmm. She had listened to this show every Saturday morning. And she applied everything. Matter of fact, she's heard you on the show before. And she applied every thing that I've talked about on this show to the brand new house she built. She's got a 4,500 square foot house, 2-story. Her power bill never exceeds $100. Mm-hmm. That's phenomenal. And it's always comfortable. Mm-hmm. And she spray foamed. She encapsulated her crawl. Everything was built scientifically according to great energy specs.
Yep.
And you just heard it, 4,500 square foot home, $100 a month power bill.
That is on the better end.
Oh, that's top drawer.
Yeah, that's top end. But you said it correctly. She planned it from the beginning, and not only did she do her roof deck or her wall, she did her crawl. Yeah. So then you're adding the whole house is a science experiment, basically. Then, right?
Basically, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're going to have an ERV. What's an ERV? Energy Recovery Ventilation System. ERV brings exterior air into the house and replenishes good air. So this is science. And
that goes to the comfort. When you talk about the air, the exchange of air, now they're breathing healthy air and not breathing the air that's been sitting in their house for 5 air changes per hour.
Right. And, we talk about changes in technology in the industry, and when all this came to be, when foam really hit the forefront, the whole science around building changed. Everything changed. And here we are. And as a result of that change, there were a ton of mistakes being made, weren't there?
Yes.
A ton. Why? Goes right back to that plastic they put on the wall in the 70s. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know application.
And you mentioned 2010. I think it was the 2012 North Carolina Energy Code that required all insulation to be six-sided. And that's six-sided. So how many homes that you've been in and done work in probably personally where you have a room above the garage and they have two what we call knee walls.
Oh yeah. Bonus room above the garage, and they have the knee walls going down with the slope. I was in one last week.
Yep. So the insulation behind those knee walls, if before 2012, were left open, and now they have to have a backing behind them, an air barrier.
Gotcha.
And that is part of the six-sided. You have about insulation. You have six, each side of that insulation, the two sides, the front, the back, and the top and the bottom have an air barrier against it. And that keeps it from being as much of a
filter, air filter,
right? You knew it before I could get it out of my head.
Right? I just put two and two together because fiberglass is nothing more than a filter,
right? Yep. But when it's six-sided, it creates it from becoming a filter.
It encapsulates it and creates a more stronger barrier.
Yep, and that science has been out forever, but in 2012, it also makes the house tighter.
Oh, of course.
Which makes more reason when you do let's say spray foam your attic, you won't have an ERV. You won't have a fresh air intake.
The biggest point to all of this is you lose your money through air. That's it. Mm-hmm. Through air leakage. And what we're trying to do is make the house tighter to hold and contain the contents of that house. In doing so, what you've done, like I said, is made a cooler out of your house. It's an airtight cooler. Now, let's talk about some complications thereof if you have an old house. Make up air. Very, very, very important. Mm-hmm. So the tighter you make the house, the more makeup air becomes important.
And he can speak directly to that when they're spraying how tight it gets.
Oh, it gets very tight. And then, like you said, makeup air, there's lots of different ways to do makeup air. They've got inline pumps to suck the air.
Sure.
And, filters to bring them right into the AC system.
Talk louder and talk into the mic.
They've got so many ways to do it. But a lot of which we see now is that they're putting systems that just draw air basically through a duct and put it right into the AC system, and then it cycles it through the house.
Right.
But makeup air is very important because you can make a house
too tight.
You can make it too tight.
I think a lot of the houses being built now are too tight. That's Ray Terry's point of view. What do I know? Geez. But
you want it tight, but you don't want it so tight that you start to have issues from that.
Right. Air
quality issues.
And we talk about, and once again, I talk about this a lot because it's very important. When I go do kitchen ventilation, ventilation, vent hoods, downdrafts, whatever you might have in your house, and you're sucking air out of the house. Well, this is where it comes into play.
Right.
If you're sucking over 400 CFM out of the house, you got to bring 400 CFM into the house. Mm-hmm. Now, those codes are applicable to all construction, meaning if you're remodeling a 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old house, it don't matter. You're going to have to, if you're going to remodel your kitchen, that code becomes effective, even though it's really not functional in that old of a house, because makeup air is everywhere when you got a house that old. Mm-hmm. Unless you come in there and rip all the walls out and spray foam them and make it a tight house. But that's pretty hard to do, isn't it?
It's very difficult to do.
Especially the older homes.
Yeah, people do it, but it's difficult to do at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's a big undertaking to take off the walls.
Oh, sure it is.
It's much easier to do the what we call the floor attic or the roof deck. We call it the roof deck, and like you mentioned with the customer in Myers Park, the crawl space.
Right.
We encapsulate the crawl. We don't actually condition it. We let the general contractor do that part. Mm-hmm. But we'll do the installation portion of it.
Gotcha. Yep. Let me ask you, in your experience, how long have you been in installation now, Danny?
Since 99.
Since 99. Well, that's easy math. That's 27 years. So you got 27 years in the industry. Today, here we are, 2026. What methodology would be a great system for you.
Yeah. So we mentioned it a little bit earlier. I personally, I think the hybrid situation,
it sounds good,
is what I would do if I were building my house today and working with my general contractor. I'd say I want to spray foam my roof deck, and I would use open cell. Mm-hmm. Depending on the price, open cell or closed cell, but open cell is a very fine product, and it would absolutely give me the comfort that I'm looking for at the price I'm looking for. Here's the thing that separates what spray foam does is it acts as an air seal. So instead of foaming my walls, though, at the cost, I would just make sure I do a great air seal and picture frame my studs. In between the studs, I would air seal in between that. With a can foam.
That's what I mean, can foam.
Yeah, and then put fiberglass bats in. And make sure it's a great one.
You're going to air seal, running foam down each stud?
Each stud, yep. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
So you do that? Y'all do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, carry on.
Yep. And then I would put a fiberglass bat in, grade 1 install, which is the highest install you can get.
Sure.
And then I would do my crawl space. And to me, that would be a very well insulated house.
Gotcha.
But I would have my ERV, and I would also have my HVAC sized correctly before
applying the
energy to it. A lot of times people get down and they're ready to insulate and they go, "Oh, I want to do spray foam." Well, you missed your savings.
Just changed.
You missed all your savings and your energy science prior to that. If you design that 2 months prior and go, well, now I can use a 17 SEER instead of a 21 SEER,
right.
I just saved $4,000.
Right.
And comfort.
And you got comfort and you got great efficiency.
Yes. So that if I were to insulate my house, that's exactly how I would do it. And you're talking to somebody who's been in the insulating business 20 years.
That's why you're here, big guy.
27 years.
And I love to hear what you guys have learned through the years.
Right.
And but I'm telling you, the biggest thing that I've witnessed is encapsulated attics.
Yes.
How effective they become.
Well, just to give you kind of an example of how effective they do, we did one several years ago, and it took us about 2 days just to do the attic. It was big enough and moving around. But it was when we were getting frost in the morning. It was getting warm in the day, but in the frost in the morning, when we pulled up the second morning, you could see the frost where we had already sprayed was still on the roof.
Yeah.
The area we had not sprayed, the frost had already melted just from the escape of the heat from the house.
Let's talk about that roofing situation again. So I'm
going to interrupt you. It's funny because how long you're Charlottean, it seems like forever. You go
born and raised.
So you know the snow patterns here.
Yes.
Well, this year we had the abundance of snow, ice, or not
relatively speaking,
but compared to what we've had the last 10 years.
Exactly.
And I can tell you as a insulator, and I'm probably one of the few geeks that drove around and looked at it. Well, I did hear one of the weathermen talk about it. I love looking on the top of the houses, and I could tell you which ones were insulated well and which ones weren't.
Yeah, you can. I agree. I've done the same thing.
I'm a big nerd on that, but I'll point out to my wife, I bet you we did that house. That house has snow on top of it still. Yep. This house over here, it's already melted. And that's because the heat's getting to it from inside the house.
Yeah,
losing all that heat.
Right.
And anyway, I just wanted to add that.
No, and I'm glad you did, because that kind of backs up what I'm about to say, that I've said it many times before. I repeat a lot on this show because of just the impact that this one topic has, like encapsulating attics. There's so much benefits to that in so many ways. Not only the heating, the efficiency of the heating cooling system, but the roof longevity of the roof itself. Mm-hmm. And I've told this story because it's so, to me, it's impactful that how I did a room addition out on Hebron off South Boulevard, way back, commercial. And the guy that built that building put foam insulation on the roof deck. Mm-hmm. And when I went to tie in the addition I was building onto this office, I've started, you got to cut the shingles and web them in and, cut them in right. I noticed how new they acted. Like, I said, what in the world? This building's over 30 years old, but these shingles act like they're, 10 years old. They don't act old at all.
Yep.
Because shingles will become brittle, when they get old and hard to work with. So I went in and asked Mr. Myers, who was one of my mentors too. That's why I was there. And I went down and says, I noticed you got foam board on the roof deck. He said, yeah, I noted. Did you notice the shingles, what kind of shape they were in? I said, yeah, they're like new. He said, there you go. That was my first introduction to this concept, the foam board. And then I went on, this was the early 90s, by the way.
Way ahead of its time.
Yeah, exactly. And I went on WBT when I was on WBT radio back then and talked about that. 3M Corporation, who makes the granules, the copper granules for the shingles, they sent me a cease and desist letter, email, told me not to repeat that again. And I said, and you know why? Because they didn't want it to hurt their shingle business. But that's turned around now because they'll tell you now that there's a benefit. When you encapsulate your attic, you're extending the life of that roof by 30 to 50%. And that's no joke.
And it's funny you say that because when spray foam when I first got into it heavily in the mid 2000s, 2010, the manufacturers of the shingles would say, we're not going to
honor our warranty. I know.
Yep.
And now they sign off on it. Like you said, a 180-degree change.
Another example of how we change in this industry with technology.
And common sense.
And common sense, yeah. But they told me to not repeat that again.
Right. And now look at the industry nowadays.
It's all changed.
Well, nothing's changed. Well, the part that's changed, he did it right. He did it 30 years ago, right?
Exactly. He did it. He knew.
People were scared of losing business or didn't know about it. So
it works. And my brother, another story, when he put a new roof on his house down in Weddington, he put a 2-inch foam board on it. Jeff Freeman's Exteriors. Freeman's Exteriors is Roger, his brother, but regardless, Jeff Freeman came down there and he says, I've never done one before because they had to get longer roofing nails, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
His attic went down to 80 degrees.
Yep.
See, it worked from the from the top side. He put it on top side to the bottom. Now, the word of caution. In new homes, what a benefit. You're going to extend the life of that roof tremendously. Great comfort. I mean, everything you want is achieved, okay? However, if you live in a house 30, 40, 50 years old and you need a new roof, do not spray foam the attic until you get a new roof.
Unless, yes.
And why? And we can talk about this. Roger Freeman, my buddy's been roofing for over 40 years. Freeman, you know Roger. I've heard of Roger. Yeah. Well, Roger's done every roof he does, anywhere from 7 to 10 sheets of decking have to be replaced. Yep. Well, the thing is, if you have to replace roof decking, you're going to damage the open silk foam. Yep. And that's why I say go ahead and get a new roof, get the roof decking replaced as necessary because it rots and has damage, and get that done, get a new roof, then encapsulate your attic. Does that make sense?
Very well said. Very well said. I didn't know where you were going with it, but then you stated it because we've gone on jobs before where we pulled off before because we'll get to an area and say, you really don't want us to spray this because
it's damaged.
Yeah.
It's got to be fixed. Same thing.
And, we hate to do that because it interrupts our schedule.
Sure.
There's a lot of things. But at the same time, we don't want to make something worse, go from bad to worse.
Right. And there again, if you do have a new roof put on your house and you do have encapsulated attic with spray foam, call ABS to come back and fix it because you're going to need it. Some foam.
Yep, absolutely.
See, when you take the roof deck up, you're going to damage some of that spray foam, and it'll fall out.
Yep.
Am I right or wrong?
You're right. You're 100% right.
And wait. But if you get a new roof, I highly recommend that the week after, get your spray foam in there.
And that'd be actually a good segue, Ryan, if you want to talk to them a little bit about the difference between open cell and closed cell.
Let me talk about a sponsor first, and then we'll talk about open cell, closed cell, then we'll talk about gutters. You want to? We will. All right, ABS Insulating. You know all about them. They're in studio today. What more can I say? They're great. Okay? Of course, I'm saying it because it's true, and I'm tickled to death they're a sponsor because, as we've alluded to on this show today, with all the information, it's really one of the key areas you can save money, establish greater comfort in your house. It's just a win-win.
It is.
Everything about it. 821-4343. That's 701-821-4343. Go online, absinsulating.com. FCI, Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. Every house got floors in it. Yep, every one of them. And normally they got something on the floor. Well, the floor is a substructure. The flooring is what's on the subfloor. Well, that's where FCI, Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte, comes into play. They got you covered. You're looking for new flooring. The market has changed tremendously over the past 10 years. The LVP, LVT. Now laminate floorings come back with new methodologies and new product information, new product period. That's laminate. Call FCI, go online, yourflooringteam.com. And let's don't forget about the store of stores, Queen City Home Store, your complete home store, be it media, appliances. And when I say appliances, I mean appliances. No better resource for appliances than Queen City Home Store. They got you covered no matter what you're looking for. Great prices, great product selection, great customer service guaranteed. That's Queen City Home Store. Give them a call at the corporate, 704-391-6000, or go online, queencityonline.com. And today, we're talking ABS Insulating, and we're talking about foam, bad insulation. What other kind of, there's something else I'm missing out?
Well, we do the spray foam, and we do fiberglass. We do not do cellulose in this market right now. We've considered it, but right now with humidity, we still think it's
Let's talk about that a minute to let people know about what you meant by humidity. Cellulose is paper.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's paper do?
Suck up moisture.
So it sucks up moisture, just like a mop. If I put that in a pile of water right there, it's going to soak it up, just like a paper towel, right?
Yes.
Welcome to cellulose. Make sense?
And I think cellulose as a insulation material in the right condition is fabulous.
Oh, it's great.
I am just not convinced that we're in the right environment to do it. And that's the only reason. So I don't want to, if somebody has done it, I don't want to offend them. If somebody is considering it, I think they should weigh all the options. I would, you can do a spray foam fiberglass as well. I said spray foam fiber. You can spray in fiberglass as well instead of a bat.
Sure.
But spray foam is what I would recommend if you were looking at doing a cellulose.
All right, let's talk about attics encapsulations real back up here a bit, because I want to talk about methodology. Do y'all take all the blown insulation out when you encapsulate an attic? So what you do when you encapsulate an attic, can you give us a rundown protocol on what you do?
So if it's an existing house.
I'm going to, let's back up even further.
Okay.
When your salespeople go out and talk to a prospective client of an existing house, remodel, upfit, call it what you want. What do they do? Do they do any kind of thermal energy test?
Yep. So we don't carry cameras unless they're necessary, but we go through the protocol. We go up in the attic. One of the first things we look at, and what you referred to earlier, was whether they have a gas furnace or if it's 80-20. So if it's an 80-20 split, then that is the cutoff. If it's 90-10, we prefer not to spray foam it.
Gotcha.
And Ryan would be able to.
But that's the old systems.
Right. That's the very old systems. Yeah.
Very old. Yeah. Which are few and far between.
Do we still do 80-20s?
What do you mean as far as like the
split in when the HVAC is?
Oh, no. So we try to go with if you have a gas furnace, we tend to tell people that you want a 90% efficient furnace.
Right. Exactly. And that's a good point. That's why I want to talk about it.
Yeah, you want a 90% efficient furnace because you're encapsulating it, because you're encapsulating that roof.
Safety.
It's a safety thing. You have to have, like you said earlier, you have to have that fresh air being drawn into the furnace, and you also have to exhaust for that furnace. You want that 90% efficient furnace. It's just a safety.
Okay, so you get all that squared away, and you're going to spray foam the attic. Mm-hmm. You go in there and you pump out or suck out?
So we usually go in like the day before, and we'll have a crew go in and they remove all the existing insulation that's basically on your ceiling. They go in and remove all of that, and then we usually within the next day. We try to get to it within the next day. No more than 2 days after that, we go in and then we spray and encapsulate your attic.
Okay, I'm just curious. What do y'all do with all that old insulation?
Throw it away. Dumpster, throw it away.
So you just throw it away?
So, yes, it's interesting, and I could go down a rabbit hole here, but in our...
Oh, come on, go a little bit. Go a little bit, anyway.
So, in our Myrtle Beach location, because we're also in Myrtle Beach, a company that builds down there, it's a national builder, they spray foam 100% of the house. So they do the walls and the roof deck as standard. That's their standard.
SOP.
The environment is very important to them, and sustainability. One thing they do not like is us filling up the dumpster with excess spray foam. Because you got to shave it. When you do the walls, you got to shave it to where
and all that excess is what you're speaking of.
They are very adamant, and we have to do studies of how much trash we're throwing away to make sure it offsets the energy that they're going to save on the house. So that's when I say I could go down a rabbit hole is they don't want all that excess spray foam that you sprayed that you have to cut off.
Right.
So that makes our guys have to be very good at what they do.
Yeah, because that stuff will expand.
Right. So we have to be very good at what we do. And they started testing us by, I don't know the sizes of it, but let's say a 30-foot trash dumpster. Well, they put out those little 8x10s or something like that.
They put out a box.
They might not even been 8x10.
Yeah, they're
to see how much we get in there.
Plywood box is what they basically build out front, and they don't want us to fill it up.
Yeah. And
so y'all have to get real good. In your crews, you got good guys, and then you got not so good guys.
Well, that's true with everybody. Yeah.
Well, I know.
It's
experience.
It's experience. We got guys that are still learning.
I'm great with certain tools, and you give it to somebody like drywall work. Mm-hmm. Same thing. You got good guys, and you got they're learning.
Well, and a lot of our sprayers, it becomes like you said, it's experience. It's learning to understand.
Sure.
Because when you're spraying foam, you have to be able to read the foam.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to understand what, you have people that can go in there and pull the trigger and put foam in a wall, but you have to be able to read the foam and understand how it's growing and what's causing it not to grow the way you want it to grow.
And I will warn your audience about that. That's the thing that you see. And again, I don't blame anybody for trying to be an entrepreneur.
Sure.
Right? Going out and trying to start their own business. But you've got to have accountability too.
Right.
And a lot of these guys are they're just out there spraying. And like he said, they're just pulling a trigger. They're not figuring out what the dew is that day. They're not figuring out what the temperature is that day and making sure that the foam that they're making. And that's what he's saying. When it comes out, if it's watery and they're still spraying it in because they want to get it done by a certain time, that's not the best case for you.
Gotcha.
You need, whether it's ABS insulating or not, you need to make sure you use a reputable foam company.
Well, speaking of that, this foam has to be mixed in the truck.
Well, it's mixed. We carry 2 parts in the truck, and it's actually mixed. It actually mixes as it comes out of the gun. So
there's 2 55-gallon drums.
Yes, sir.
We're
pulling chemical out of there. It goes through our machine, goes through a heater, then it goes through a hose. And in that hose, we have 2 sections. They say separate in the hose. There's actually 3 hoses in there because you have an air line in there as well. And then they mix it literally mixes in the gun as we spray it into the wall.
And then it puffs up.
Yep. It'll expand 100 times its size in 8 seconds.
Wow. And therefore, you got to know that spraying it because you don't want it to come out more than it needs to.
Yep. And like we were talking about earlier with the being up in an attic and it already being 150 or higher.
Right.
Up there in the summertime.
Yeah.
Even in the summertime, we're spraying, that foam's coming out, which running through a heater, we still have to heat it. It could be coming out this time of year. We're anywhere from 120. We're spraying, the foam is coming out at 120 to 130.
Which heats the air around it, which makes it hotter in the environment you're working in.
Correct.
And when you talked about having like A players or B players, that's where having a good team or a good truck, as you know, working with a partner that you work with, because Ryan might be better at spraying than he is at shaving.
Right.
Or the guy who's shaving might be better at understanding the temperatures, what they need to be at, than the sprayer. Right. Like he's going, no, you're spraying it too hot.
So you've got adjustments on these mixtures as far as the environmental conditions.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah, it depends on the environment. Like you said, it depends on moisture levels, depends on heat, the substrate that we're spraying to, the humidity in the air affects the foam. All of it affects how the foam grows and what temperatures we need to be spraying at. Today we may be out there spraying a little warmer because it's a little cooler this morning. But if the sun were to pop out and start to warm up, we may have to go out and turn it down because the substrate starts.
You got to make adjustments.
You got to make adjustments.
And that's why you don't want to. I'll call them trigger guys. You don't want a guy that's just to go out there and pull the trigger.
Right. I got you. I hear you. Cool. But I really appreciate the information. I hope some of the listeners get a lot out of it because this is one of the areas that every homeowner needs to know about.
Yep.
Because you've got resources that really can help your pocketbook. The upfront cost, that's the investment. Where it pays off, your ROI, return on your investment, is every month and you do your energy bill.
And
comfort.
Comforts can never, it's one of those things in life. Once you have it, you don't want to go backwards, right? A lot of things in life, we get to a certain stage, we don't. And once you get that comfort of a well-insulated, well-designed house, you want to keep it. But I will say, when he was talking about substrate, something that popped into my mind is, I don't know what the reason is. I'm kind of curious, and I know a lot of it could be the barn mediums, but we are insulating a lot of metal buildings now. And that can be That could be the 16 by 20 shed out in the backyard, or it could be the 40 by 60 one that's used for manufacturing, right?
Exactly.
And most of those that they use that vinyl back insulation.
Right.
That is hung, it has like a white vinyl back and it's insulated. And it's a R19. Well, you can spray 5.5 inches, which is the same size as that as spray foam, and it's called a R19. But going back to your energy rated, it performs at a R30 value.
Right.
So even though it's the same depth as the bat, and I'm probably getting too deep here in the science, it performs at a much higher value. And I don't know how many of those we've done lately.
We're doing a lot of them lately. We did 2 or 3
less. A closed cell or open cell?
Closed cell. Closed cell.
We use closed cell on those.
Mm-hmm. Closed cell on those. And just because it adheres to the metal.
Sure.
And it like we were talking about earlier, you basically turn a metal. You get a lot of these metal buildings that are going up, like for garages and different things like that. You can put a mini split in those things and turn them into an ice box.
You sure can. Mini splits are awesome.
And that's what we see a lot of those, people taking garages or storage units and we're going in and spraying them. It cuts down on the heat because, of course, metal absorbs and reflects heat.
Sure.
And so they get much hotter.
And it goes back to that comfortability. Really, that's what it goes back to. If you're going to be working out in the metal building shed, right?
Right.
You want to be comfortable. What are they? He sheds?
She sheds. She sheds. I was in a she shed last week down in Matthews, where a lady, she said, "Let's go out to the barn. I want to show you some stuff, my plans." And so we went out there, and she was talking about it. And as I sat there and looked at this barn, I said, "Man, foam insulation." I was thinking in my mind, that'd be the ticket here.
Yep.
It really would. Foam, foam insulation, spray foam is the way to go.
Well, a lot of people don't realize. I mean, there's foam insulation in a lot of things that we have every day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Matter of fact, packing. Good gosh, foam.
It's in your couches.
It's in your couches.
Yes, and
it's in your boats.
Yeah,
it's in everything.
I think you were the one that told me, and if you haven't, I've heard it many times. Back in the day, when you had your little styrofoam cooler,
yeah,
a lot of people would put like aluminum foil or something on the top of it to help the reflection to make
the reflection of the heat, get it off there.
Yep. And nowadays they're just taking that to another level with all the Yeti. The Yeti cooler is, why do you think this works so well?
It's foam.
It's foam.
Yeah. Question, and then I'll talk about gutters. Radiant barriers.
Yep.
What's your opinion?
I think radiant barriers are well used and dependent on the environment. But now, because the spray foam price has come down so much, and again, up until the recent war, the price to spray foam is cheaper to do it than the radiant barrier to a certain degree because of the labor. See, yep. Your experience, you hit it right on the head.
There's labor.
Yeah.
But that's something that you got to consider in every aspect of any job now.
Right.
Is your labor factors. Because I'm going to tell you something, trade people are getting more money these days. Why? Because they deserve it. Good ones.
Yep.
You know. So a guy called me the other day, just for an example, and then we're going to move to gutters here. He's buying an existing house of 15 years old. The vent hood is recirculating. He sent me a picture that's never been cleaned, and it looks atrocious. It is funky, dirty, grease, big time. He wants to replace all the parts in it. And I told him, I says, no, you don't. Because if you do, you're going to pay twice as much as you can buy a new hood for because of labor. Yep. He said, really? I said, really? And then you're still not going to be happy with cleaning it because you can't get all of the grease out of it. So why would we do that? Just buy a new vent hood?
Right.
And he said, well, I see your point. Well, there's your great example. You know, your labor factor is sometimes going to exceed. It's just like finding parts for appliances today. You can't find parts because they don't sell them. They're outdated. So what do? You got to buy a new appliance.
Well,
sucks, but that's just the way it is.
It's funny when I pay the bills every month and I look at our automobile expenses. I'll look at a part costs $500, but it costs $1,500 to install it.
Yeah. Got to have the motor out of it, put it in.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Another great example.
But I will say this, and I don't mind throwing these numbers around, and I hope Ryan doesn't mind. Now, again, it takes time to get to these numbers.
Sure.
But our spray foam guys, if they don't make a minimum of $65,000 to $125,000, then they're not the right guy for the job.
There you go.
And
they want to pay you.
Right. And like I said, 65 would be on the low end.
Yeah,
that's if you don't, now it does take, you don't go in making that day.
Of course, you got to work up to it.
You got to work up to it. But we got the guys that make six figures every day.
I don't doubt
every year.
The trade's not a bad avenue of approach. There's no, and are you needing help?
Yeah, absolutely. And we need for every department, we need people, especially with driver's license. I don't know what happened to this generation, but nobody likes to drive anymore.
I know.
I mean, they don't like it. It's not even that they can't. They don't like to.
Danny, I get it. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but I've talked to kids. I don't need a driver's license. What do I need a driver's license for? That was one until last.
Hey, I'm one of them. 31. I just got it last year.
Yeah, we made a vow that he would have his driver's license last year, and he did it. And I'm proud of him for it.
You know what?
It's because there's a bunch of lunatics on the road. That's why I don't like driving. These people don't know what they're doing. Everybody's looking at their phone. Everybody drives like a maniac. You always got to be a defensive driver because nobody knows what they're doing.
You asked me earlier about AI. And one of our locations that I cover in Raleigh, that is a strictly spray foam location. That's all they do. One of the main guys there, who's I think the world of, has a 13-year-old daughter, and he says, I can't wait till all cars are
autonomous.
Yep. He goes, I will feel so safe. And I'm thinking, maybe I'm just old school or not, but he's thinking.
You are.
He's thinking like.
We're outdated, Danny.
Right. He's thinking that that's going to be much safer. And I've driven in a driverless car. I've ridden in a driverless car out in Phoenix. And they're getting ready to start here in Charlotte. Is it Waylo?
Yeah, something like that. There was one bunch of them in San Francisco. I saw it. A lot of it out west, California. But
they're mapping Charlotte right now. They're getting ready to open up in the next 90 days.
It's disturbing.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is it?
Driverless cars.
It's basically just nobody's
Ubers.
driving. It's
like Ubers.
It's Uber
but with
or taxi.
No people in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We live in a very weird time.
But that's, here a guy is very intelligent and he thinks that his dog is safer.
Who's to say somebody doesn't just hack into that, and then if they want somebody dead, they'll just hack into the car. And then
But they can hack into your car now.
Oh, yeah.
They already can.
Yeah,
they can already do that.
Crazy. All right. Number one house enemy. Your number one enemy is what?
Water. You've been saying that for...
Ever since I was 18 years old. When I walked out in the field and Clayton Stokes told me, boy, let me teach you something. The most important thing you're going to learn about construction. You take care of Mother Nature first.
Yep.
First. And now we're talking about water control, gutters. Talk about your gutter division.
So we've been in gutters since the early 1990s as well. We have special machines that do half round gutter, which is very aesthetically looking gutter that is just the half round, exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Then we do 6-inch gutter, K-style gutter, and we do 5-inch K-style gutter, which is what you see on the majority of homes. And you and I both agree that the most worthless thing on gutters is a 2x3 downspout. That's a small downspout.
Yuck.
Unfortunately, you cannot get the national builders to go away from them.
Yeah, because of money.
But that's the only way we install them. If you call us and ask us to install a 2x3 downspout, it's just not. To us, you're not
your
solving any problem.
SOP's jumbo downspout.
Right. Yeah. 3x4,
standard
4x5.
operational procedure. Put jumbo downspouts on.
Yep. And when we do remodels, that's exactly what we do. We will sell them that's all we will sell is the upgraded, the jumbo, you call them the jumbo, 3x4 larger downspouts.
Yeah, large downspout.
And one thing you got to watch out for, and again, I hate to say this, but this is people going out on their own.
There's big time facts here.
Is when you put the 3x4 downspout in, you need to put the outlet of a 3x4 downspout.
Oh, you mean they're still putting the teeny ones in there shooting water down a jump?
When we go to inspect houses, we see that all the time.
What we're talking about here, listeners, is if you got a 3x4 3x4 jumbo downspout, you need a 3x4 insert that goes in the hole above it that lets water down through the downspout.
Yep.
And man, that makes all the difference in the world with a gutter job.
And the gutters is designed to get the water away from the house, not less water. Right. Yeah, not capture it. So. And
now we enter the summer months where mosquito breeding is prevalent. Okay, big time. If your gutters are holding water, they're a mosquito nest. That's just plain and simple. Especially in your drought areas when we have an afternoon shower and that water sits in there for days before it evaporates, you got mosquito nest. Mm-hmm. And, it's sight unseen. You can't see it. You don't know it's there. If you got gutter issues, y'all can fix it.
Yep. So what we'll do is we come out there and do an inspection. Sometimes we'll get up on the ladder and do an inspection that way. Sometimes we do it from the ground. But we do clean out gutters. We do offer that service. We offer also...
Wait a minute. Not to interrupt.
Yep.
But so a homeowner wants your gutters clean. Mm-hmm. They can call you.
Yep.
And just have you come out and clean gutters.
Yes.
I see it.
That's all we'll do is clean out the inside of the gutter.
That service solely.
Yes.
That's awesome. But during such, they're going to inspect your gutters.
Right. And that's when we typically find any
gutters when you can when you clean them out.
Right. And that's when you'll find
you become intimate.
You might even find your lost tennis ball or your lost baseball.
Might.
Yeah.
And speaking of those holes, Tennis balls have a tendency to plug the holes.
That's about the size of it.
Yeah, perfect. So, look, if you've got gutters require maintenance. It's that simple. ABS has got a gutter division that can handle everything.
Yes, sir.
And they're very reasonably priced.
Yes, and that's another thing.
I've heard that from customers saying, I thought it was going to be a lot more.
Yes, we're a local company. We value the communities we live in, and we understand we're in business to make money, but we're also in business to be part of the community and work with put tools in schools and different things like that, and work with you. So it takes a community, man.
It takes a village. That's the bottom line there. And speaking of your support about your house, in doing so, you are supporting Put Tools in Schools. Yeah. I want you to realize that, because this show is the voice of Put Tools in Schools. And as we enter the summer months, and I'm going to just go off the beaten path here a minute. You just went in the toolbox out here. Mm-hmm. I showed you both. What do you think of what we're doing here?
4 years is too long. I'm so excited to walk in there and be part of that and try to help out. That's something we can help out with. And
I'm going to lean on you a little bit, because we're going to need the support. Hopefully by the end of the summer, we'll be revved up, ready to go for next school year, because school is basically over.
Yeah, it is right now.
Graduation ceremonies are going on, and school's over. And speaking of schools being over, Aspire Trade High School, whom I mentioned earlier, I'm going to their first graduation, the third year they've been in existence. I'm going to that Saturday night. I'm looking forward to that. And we're going to develop a program, another podcast here in the podcast studio around Put Tools in Schools, where we're going to talk to students, teachers. So if you've got in remodeling especially, and one thing I want to say, if you're remodeling or adding a room addition, consider calling ABS Insulating, because they've got the experience, the background, the expertise to give you the product you need. And when I say product, it's not just one wall, it's every wall and the attic and the crawl as well.
Yes, sir.
You take the whole project. When you do room additions, are y'all doing much foam insulation for those?
Not just a one room addition. It's usually fiberglass. But when the house is getting a room or two added onto it, Ryan is doing that.
Oh yeah,
constantly.
Yeah, like you said, not just one room. It's usually like a whole side of the house. They're adding, a whole suite. Either a master bedroom suite or in-law suite. They're adding to a house. We go in and do a lot of those.
Are there any things that y'all want to throw out there to homeowners that they need to know about? We covered a lot of information here today.
We did. Just communication. We'll do the best we can asking questions to see what you want, and you telling us back what your end result is that you desire, and then we come up with a plan either together or working with the contractor to meet that. Like you said, it's science. What our insulation does might interfere with your air quality, so we need to get your HVAC guy involved, or you need to run electricity to this outlet here or that type. And so,
I got a question for you. HVAC companies, are they getting better or worse?
I think the good ones are staying good, and the ones that were questionable are still questionable.
I hear you. And the reason I bring that up, because as Charlotte expands, HVAC companies have just blown up.
Oh, there's so many of them.
Golly, everywhere you go, every intersection you go to, you turn to your left or right, you see HVAC company, heating and air. And like we've alluded to, the takeovers, you got companies now like the biggies, they're electrical, plumbing, heating and air all combined. So, you're getting companies now that do all three,
That's very popular now.
Very popular. Matter of fact, they go out and try to buy other companies to complete the package.
Right.
That's been going on for the past 10, 20, 15 years. And it ain't going to stop. It seems to be getting worse. Point in me telling you all that is to make you aware of the environment we're working in Charlotte, the working environment. There's a lot of investment. What do you call them? Equity company, private equity?
Yes, build for rent homes. I tell you what, we insulate a lot of them. I'm not sure what economic effect it's going to have on us 10 years from now, but equity companies, not only buying companies, but
they're buying subdivisions.
Oh, we do. I mean, bet you we insulate 2,000 to 3,000 of them a year.
Ray, we're going to add a few minutes to this. The soundboard cut out for a second. So just a heads up, we got about 5 minutes.
Okay.
I'll count you down.
You got it.
Just missed a couple minutes on there.
I hear you.
I want to make sure we get enough to fill.
Got you covered, big guy. Appreciate you.
That's
what you do, Richton. Thank you.
And drive.
Then drive, yeah. Got to work on getting a car. Lord have mercy.
Uh-oh.
So you're telling me these private equity companies are buying, and I knew they were buying subdivisions. We got that going on a lot in Charlotte.
Oh, we're probably top 10 to 12 in the country for build to rent markets. I would say there's 15 to 20,000 of build to rent homes a year being built.
Well, I knew it was happening. I just didn't know how abundant it was in Charlotte.
Yes, and a lot of it's actually even going through national builders. The national builders will build this for the equity firm.
The old saying, you will own nothing and be happy. Well, here we go. You will own nothing and be happy. To what he just alluded to is we got private equity companies building out complete subdivisions, hundreds of houses.
Klaus Schwab. Sounds like Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum.
Well, it's off on that format.
What is that?
The Klaus Schwab, you can go talk about rabbit holes. You can go down a whole rabbit hole. I don't have time to get into it, but I can tell you all.
It's what they're doing. It's, you'll own nothing and be happy.
It's like BlackRock and all those.
Oh, okay.
They're
buying up everything.
Well, BlackRock's one of the ones that has a strong presence in the build to rent.
Yeah, big time. They bought whole subdivision. Well, that started years ago.
Yeah.
Down in Texas, I believe it was. I heard the first story about they went in there and bought the whole subdivision.
Yeah, it started out in Texas and the Southwest.
Yes.
And now, like I said, Charlotte's a major player. And again, I don't know how it's going to affect us 10 years from now, but I will say this, it has kept us busy over the last 2 years. With some of the interest rates going up, this has kept building at a decent pace. So Charlotte's still as we know, one of the best places to move to. So our economy.
I'm ready to move out. Well, look, I don't want to sit here and be a curmudgeon about it, but let's face it, Charlotte's out of control. Mm-hmm. Our infrastructures can't keep up with the traffic, the newcomers coming into this town. We hit 1 million mark, and that's only happened over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
So we're exploding, and we cannot handle this growth. And the traffic gets worse every day.
It goes back to common sense, right? A lot of times, how do you logically expect to add so many people and not add any roads?
Right. So, but that's Charlotte, and we're here talking about Charlotte because that's where I live. Talking about put tools in schools, I talk about Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools because this is where I live. This is what I do. This is where I can influence or be a part of whatever happens, and I'm going to be because this is my home. And yeah, I can talk nasty about it because it's my home. I will talk nasty about it because it's my home. People say, you can't say that. Watch me. Read my lips.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
I don't mean to be cantankerous, but welcome to my world. I don't understand the common sense or lack of it in this world we live in now.
There's not. It's gone out the window. Most people don't have it anymore.
Where are we at there, big boy?
You got about 2 minutes.
All right, well, let me know when I got a minute.
I will.
Today's show, ABS Insulating, 704-821-4343. If it's energy you're looking to focus on, well, ABS Insulating is a place to start. If you own a home and you're looking to save money and extend the life and everything around your home, what we've talked about today is definitely something you may want to consider. The energy and air seal. If someone called you and said, can you do an air seal program?
Yes. The air seal programs are difficult to do because you have to remove all the insulation first. before you can do it. And when I say difficult, it just takes a lot of coordination.
Sure. But they're effective.
They are effective. And I do want to correct something I said earlier with the Duke Energy program.
Yes.
It is 1,000 square feet, but it's $700 rebate. So I got my 700 or the 1,000.
You got them reversed.
Right. It's 1,000 square feet and a $700 rebate.
But still, you got it. It's a no-brainer.
Right. No, it's free money.
It's free money, and it's gonna help you get what you need to establish greater comfort,
right,
and a lower energy bill. But it works. This isn't a hypothetical situation. And to the radiant barriers, I don't believe in them. That's just me. I've tried to find proof of that. And the reason I bring it up, because I've been questioned about it the past 3 weeks, every week. Mm-hmm. Radiant barrier, do they work? They can work if installed correctly and done correctly. They can work and will work. But not to the claims that radiant barrier companies.
No, and especially nowadays, the correct way to install it is being an inch off the roof deck, not laying it flat.
Thanks for coming, guys. We got to get out of here.
Yes,
next week, we're going to talk health. Health is wealth. See you next week. Ray Terry about your house. Have a great week.